What's going on YouTube? JT Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. In this video, we're going to be talking about Harley Quinn, issue number 10. This one's written by Stephanie Phillips, and the art's a little bit different this time around. So this is kind of the big post-Fear State, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, Harley Ivy, whatever the ship name is, getting back together from where they were before. So Harley and Ivy shippers will probably love this, but then again, they'll probably hate it too by the end. I don't exactly know how the reaction to this thing is going to be online, but it seems that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, although they're kind of back together, are going to kind of separate a little bit at the end because, quite frankly, Harley Quinn has kind of changed. She's trying to become better and become more of a Bat Family type member and evolve a bit. Poison Ivy has not gone through that journey yet, so there's a bit of a conflicting ideologies there. Yes, they still care for each other, but I like the fact that they now have kind of some conflicting ideologies from where they were before, while Poison Ivy was just kind of off doing her own thing in the underground world and that. So Harley Quinn kind of sets her off on her own little journey, like, hey, look, I'll be waiting for you when you get back. I'll still love you, Pammy, but maybe you need your own bit of self-discovery. So they're together, and then, you know, they're apart, or I don't exactly know. But as the issue opens up, Hugo Strange is talking to Keepsake. He shoots him, and I was kind of hoping, okay, that should be it in terms of Keepsake. But no, Keepsake is still kind of alive at this point. And then you get kind of a bit of a date night between Harley and Ivy. The artwork here is really, really good. There's a lot of sexual tension throughout this issue for, you know, because there's a lot of on-the-nose dialogue here with the two of them. So you got that going on. You also have her friend Kevin and his date with this girl Sammy just kind of met. Harley kind of messes things up. They often kind of go off to the side, and Poison Ivy is kind of like, hey, let's steal this thing and get out of Gotham for good. And Harley's like, no, I'm trying to do better. Then Poison Ivy just up and snaps like a complete psycho, because Poison Ivy is still, in my eyes, kind of a villain. Well, yeah, she is a villain. Like, she helped the city for her own like benefits, and it was kind of Harley Quinn who helped out that. But Poison Ivy to me is she's still a villain. Like, I mean, some of these villains need to stay villains. I feel like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, I like them better as villains more than I do as heroes. That's me personally. In terms of them as a couple, I'm totally fine with it. I got no beef with it whatsoever. Let them stay together. But like, I kind of like them more in the vein of what was going on in Batman the Animated Series when Harley and Poison Ivy first met back when Paul Dini was writing it. Like, Harley and Ivy, that's one of my favorite episodes where the two of them are just kind of together going off on their little crime sprees. Yeah, I like seeing Harley separate from the Joker, kind of going off and doing her own path, but I still kind of like them being a bit villainous. That's just me. I prefer that as opposed to just Harley Quinn full-blown going hero. I just think it's more interesting. And like I said, I like having some more like villains being villains instead of everyone always trying to change them and doing some like revisionist history and make them good and all that stuff. So that's just me personally. I want to see Harley and Ivy kind of go off doing more sort of villainous things, not like to the extent of Joker, but still being like not fully good. I think that's what makes them more interesting than trying to reform them. But that's just me personally. So they have their issues. Kevin has his kiss with Sam or whatever. Keepsake kind of shows up at the end. They have this moment with the two of them at the bridge, and then they kind of kiss at the end of it. And Harley is still going to be kind of there to love her, but she understands that Pam needs to kind of go on her own journey of self-discovery. I'm not sure if this really is a breakup, but they're definitely not going to be together for long. And like I think some fans will probably be upset about that. I got no personal investment in it, so I'm like, if they're together, I'm like, cool. If they're not, then I'm not going to necessarily cry about it. But it just seems kind of weird. Like, you did all this stuff, like building up to their big reunion just to kind of separate them again. Like, what was the point of that? Why not have them kind of stick around together for a little bit and then have them kind of go off and do their own thing? I don't exactly know, but that's just DC. When it comes to a lot of couples, too, it's like this whole will they, won't they thing. That always kind of annoys me. And like, if you kind of just, it's like dangling something in front of the readers, like, oh, you want this? You want this? Oh, too bad. Geez. That's terrible. So I can see some frustration with some fans with it. But to me, it's like, okay, they're still together, but like, Ivy is kind of going to have to go off and try and rediscover herself and maybe kind of change for the better, kind of like Harley has. So that's where that's at. All right, well, I think I've said enough in terms of this thing. The artwork was quite good, very good actually. I like it more than the typical art for this book, which kind of is something that you have to kind of get used to. And I think it definitely it's a smart move that they went with this artist as opposed to the typical artist that's been on the Harley Quinn book, because especially for the scenes where there's a lot of like romantic tension between the two characters, it really wouldn't have clicked as much because, like I said, they're drawn very beautifully, and it really, the art pops quite well. The story itself, like I said, I think Harley and Ivy fans are going to want to check this thing out because it's the two of them together, and then they're kind of apart maybe at the end. I don't exactly know. And if you're invested in the side character Kevin and his relationship, then that's there too. I'm kind of bummed Keepsake was still alive by the end of the issue. I kind of wish he was just kind of often just kind of put into, I don't know, like oblivion or something like that. But he's still around, so we got that going on. All right, well, I'm not sure the book's going to go from here. We'll just kind of wait and see. I don't even like look up really much with this book. It's just like, oh, a new issue comes out, then I go ahead and read it. So that's kind of the deal with this Harley Quinn book. But maybe shippers will be happy, maybe they won't. So that's basically this issue in a nutshell. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this one. Tell me your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. I'll be back next to talk about Detective Comics, and I think that'll be it in terms of comic book reviews for 2021. And yeah, we'll be moving into a new direction. Should be fun. And yeah, it's hard to believe 2021 is coming to an end now. It's kind of crazy. All right, well, that's all I got to say. Thanks so much for watching. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.